Welcome to Trivia Maze. Think you know your favorite stars inside and out? Test your skills and see if you can identify these stars by their voices. Can you guess who's talking? Let's go!
And so you had to learn to speak and sound your final consonants.
Can you guess whose voice this is? Morgan Freeman.
I mean, honestly, I'm like somebody who likes like Gordon Ramsay. I'm like the last. I mean, honestly, I'm like somebody who likes like Gordon Ramsay. I'm like.
Whose voice is that? Scarlett Johansson.
And I think we were both really hungry to try to reestablish ourselves as a formidable.
Can you guess this voice? Robert Downey Jr.
Well, you got to be a certain way. You got to drop some weight. You got to be somebody different. You got to stop working out.
Guess who's talking? Dwayne Johnson.
On the backside, his buddy says, you got to cut that out or you're going to go to jail. And he steps forward and says, no, man, that's what I love about those high school girls.
Can you guess who that was? Matthew McConaughey.
Ever realize how exciting it was to watch it on television, and we just got so into it, and somehow...
Can you guess the voice? Julia Roberts.
Now please listen very carefully. Die Hard is not...
Which celebrity was that? Bruce Willis.
Off the track to distract you, to make you laugh and stuff like that, make you happy and docile so you don't know what's really going on.
Can you guess the voice? Jim Carrey.
For a while, there was a while that my kids kept being like, well, actually, I only had one at the time, but my kid kept being like,
Are you familiar with this voice? Natalie Portman.
You should do my life story. And I was like, wow. He said, but James, wouldn't people be laughing? He said, they ain't gonna laugh if you do it serious. People gonna...
Can you guess who's talking? Eddie Murphy.
I guess it was kinda real, but how do I answer this? This is being broadcast everywhere too.
Whose voice is that? Ryan Reynolds.
The most important question is, the people get to where they want to go because they know where they want to go. Most people don't know where they want to.
Can you guess who's talking? Oprah Winfrey.
With beautiful performances from end to end, not only Joaquin, but Connie Nielsen, Richard Harris, Derek Jacobi.
Which voice is that? Russell Crowe.
No one brings up the fact that for, a full day's shooting, I was down there doing the dirty work, and everyone assumed it was amazing.
Who is this? Sandra Bullock.
But that being said, look, I mean, I'm a competitive guy. I like, I work really hard.
Whose voice is that? Mark Wahlberg.
If I could turn back the clock, I would have used my voice in a completely different way. I would have said to journalists, I would have said, don't you...
Whose voice was that? Kate Winslet.
It's always good and mysterious and you don't know what the hell's going to happen.
Whose voice is that? Robert De Niro.
I had a few. I met some stranger who talked about an acting class, and I went to...
Can you guess whose voice is that? Brad Pitt.
The same reason it responded to her, and the same reason she wanted me next to her watching it, and the same reason we all hugged when I came out here is because...
Can you guess who's talking? Angelina Jolie.
I mean, yeah, he's like talking and like saying, nonsense, but very, very charming nonsense.
Are you familiar with this voice? Daniel Radcliffe.
I met a kid in Toronto who came up and was fascinated because I was like this star.
Can you guess who's talking? Denzel Washington.
I don't know, because if you're a lover, you got to be a fighter.
If you don't fight for your love, what kind of love do you have?
Whose voice was that? Keanu Reeves.
Action. I kept all the clothes. I can't take credit. We had great wardrobe people, but I think everybody looks good.
Can you guess whose voice is that? Chris Evans.
And largely history has forgotten them or taken them out of the narrative. And so it felt really important that when you're doing...
Whose voice was that? Keira Knightley.
There is a definitive blueprint that you can follow to achieve success.
Can you guess whose voice is that? Eddie Murphy.
The question I always ask them is why? Like, really, why? And people, and especially America.
Guess who's talking? Cameron Diaz.
It's just insanity, you know, and what a great drug. Any drug that makes you paranoid and impotent. How much fun can you have? Come on, let's...
Can you guess who's talking? Robin Williams.
I want to say that I'm most excited about the polo, but I'm most excited about the champagne. I want to say that I...
Whose voice is that? Emma Stone.
Just swimming in the Red Sea for me is something that I can check off my bucket list. Cinema for humanity.
Whose voice is that? Owen Wilson.
Here's the thing. And he said, we're going to lose the orchestra. I always knew the bad news was coming with Todd because he'd go,
guess who's talking? Cate Blanchett.
I don't think I look back very much. The highlight at the moment for me is turning up here at 7:30 every night, matinee on Wednesday.
Can you guess who's talking? Ian McKellen.
I think a season of Real Housewives, maybe. I think it just never gets old. It would be nice if I could have a couple of them.
Can you guess whose voice is that? Dakota Fanning.
You know what I did used to do around Christmas time, though, is kids would mail letters to Santa.
Can you guess whose voice is that? Steve Carell.
You're not just known for the characters you play, but you are yourself are a character.
Right.
Your personal life, whether you want it to.
Whose voice is that? Chris Pratt.
Kids would mail letters to Santa, and I wasn't privy to the super secret Santa.
Whose voice is that? Jake Gyllenhaal.
I'm so grateful that our chance meeting at Jerry's Deli led us to such an incredible relationship on screen and...
Can you guess whose voice is that? Jennifer Aniston.
The first 10 pages or 10 minutes of the film are us two driving together in a car. It took 3 days to shoot, and...
Guess whose voice is that? Jonah Hill.
When I read the I'll be back line, I said to Jim Cameron, I said, to me it sounds weird when I say Al.
Whose voice is that? Arnold Schwarzenegger.
I like to box, you know, for fun, and I've been doing it for a few decades, but I usually end up accidentally.
Can you guess who's talking? Matt Damon.
My daughter, who's in preschool, has a little period of time where the parents come and they hang out with the kid in the morning.
Whose voice is that? Mark Ruffalo.
There were so many of us, like, young people. There was like Natasha Lyonne and Gabby Hoffman and who Liv.
Can you guess who's talking? Natalie Portman.
One thing for sure, when you hire me, you're getting a black actor. And if you wrote it and you didn't see a black actor when you wrote it, or even...
Whose voice is that? Samuel L. Jackson.
When I went to a Whole Foods and there were paparazzi everywhere and I was like, oh my God, who are they here for? And it was me.
Are you familiar with that voice? Whose voice was that? Jennifer Lawrence.
I think when we signed up, it wasn't nearly as big as what it's become. I feel like every day it's getting more and more attention and it's becoming...
Can you guess who's talking? Liam Hemsworth.
You know, after doing this, it's been like the whole process of researching this movie and getting to go to NASA and learning about the story.
Can you guess whose voice is that? Ryan Gosling. Thanks for playing our Guess the Celebrity Challenge. How many did you get right? Share your score in the comments. Challenge your friends and see who wins. Until next time, keep guessing and stay curious.